Oh, hey, I didn't see you there. Welcome to Horizons.
Will you start by introduce yourself, name, major?
My name is Patrick Hennessy. I go to Claremont McKenna College. I'm the junior class president there. I'm majoring in management engineering, philosophy, and computer engineering in 5 years. Yeah.
Why did you given all your background in there, why did you choose Horizons?
I chose Horizons because I'm not going to be a very technical person for a few more years, and I'm really interested in product management. And as a PM, you have to be able to communicate with engineers and gain respect from their team. So for me, the main reason for doing Horizons was secure the technical skills this summer so I can really land a dope PM internship next summer.
And how did you come about learning about Horizons as a whole?
I'm involved with the Center for Entrepreneurship at my college, and they send out weekly emails of opportunities in tech. And early on, it was like, I think, maybe even September or November, I got an email from that institute stating this opportunity, and I got the website and then never looked back.
So you kind of applied, how is that process like, and what expectations did you have of the program coming in?
It's a very intimidating application process with like 3 or 4 rounds and a math test and very creative videos. So it can be intimidating at first, but step by step it gets easier, and then you talk to the founders in the last step, and it really personalizes the whole experience. The expectations I had were that this was going to be filled with the smartest kids across the U.S. with all their little bios and schools that people come from. I was very intimidated, but upon arrival, it was everything I expected and more, which is awesome.
Can you talk a little bit more about the type of student that goes here versus maybe a student at your university?
Yeah, there's definitely a diverse student body at Horizons. I think the youngest student this semester was 15 and the oldest was 28, so a big range. The majority are probably rising juniors or recently graduated seniors. It's like a really cool type of student to be around because everyone is thinking about that last internship or that full-time role in tech. So pretty much everyone here is preparing for some real jobs, which provides a great environment because everyone's passionate about learning all they can so it can be applied in a real role. Not just learning for learning, it's more learning for doing, which is something that I really appreciated.
And would that be the difference between a Horizon student and a normal student you would find?
Yeah, I think everyone here shares the same passion for technology and for applying it. I think a lot of CS at school is theoretical and very kind of based in, it can be very useful, but this is very practical. This is for, you want to get out of this program and build something. You want to be able to take your skills and apply them in a job marketplace, where I think for CS it might take 7 or maybe even more years of studying it to really get to that point. Horizons skips all the prereqs and gets right to it in just a few weeks, which is very cool.
So was it at any point overwhelming, and if so, how did you get over that?
Definitely. I personally have never studied CS before coming to Horizons, so the first probably 2 weeks, 3 weeks were like a struggle because you're constantly comparing yourself to others. But after a while, you realize that you should just compare yourself to your past self and look back and see, I came into this program not even knowing what HTML was, and now I can build a functioning website in like crazy amount of time. It's awesome. So it can be intimidating, and it's hard when some people have studied CS for 4 years, have a full degree in it, and trying to come in and compare yourself to those. But it's really what you make of it. So if you are willing to put in the hours and willing to work hard and not compare yourself to others, you're going to get a lot out of the program.
So when you were working in groups and teams and partners, were you ever mismatched or felt like your partner was like way above or way below, or however that, in the sense of like computer science and like their knowledge of it?
Yeah. At first, they're kind of rotating you through partners to figure out what type of person that you work best with. So at first, it was like, oh, this person was great, this person was not as great, kind of fell behind today, this learning style wasn't mine. But after a while, we have daily feedback forms that allow you to be paired with someone that you work well with. And I think towards the 4th, 5th, and 6th weeks, I was continually paired with some of the same people over and over who I tended to work very well with. So at first, it's kind of like a rotation, and after a while, you find who you work best with, and you start getting paired with them more often.
Gotcha. And did your learning better across those weeks because you were able to pace yourself with your partner?
Definitely. I think you figure out the learning style that works best for you. Having never done CS, I didn't know like partner coding versus solo coding versus same computer, 2 computers. There's like a lot of different ways you can approach these problems, and you start to figure out your own niche and then go forward in that.
Gotcha. So in a 12-week program, it's impossible to learn everything out there, but you're going to be leaving the program really soon. Do you feel prepared for what's out there?
this kind of opened my eyes to how much there is out there and how much there still is to learn. I think Horizons does a good job of running through a lot of topics and just touching base to give you the base knowledge that if you need to code in that language or using that framework in the future, you have the skills that you can learn it online yourself or start from what your previous knowledge is and talk to others to learn what you need to do. So I think they touch upon so many different things in this program that it allows you to be prepared moving on in the future to take that framework and run with it if you need to.
To almost like learn how to read documentation.
Yeah, you really learn how to Google, which is like one of the best skills.
Talk a little bit about your Googling experience.
My Googling experience.
Yes.
So really 90% of CS is debugging, and you have the base code, you write it, and then you're like, it's not working, I wonder why. So from there you have to just basically search the interwebs, the vast land of knowledge that exists on the internet. And you just, through Horizons, it forces you, because so much of your time is spent debugging, that it forces you to be able to search through documentation, to search through blog posts that people have written, to search through all these Quora answers that you would have never done otherwise. So it kind of like, you spend more of your time doing that than you do actually coding in a lot of instances. So the skills obviously increase in that sense as well.
Gotcha. And so you found that you had access to almost everything by just Googling.
Yeah, which is really cool. And there's so much out there, online existing tools to learn from, that like in the first 7 weeks we touch upon a very set curriculum. In the last 5, it's kind of up to you what you build. So for example, I learned a whole new base built on top of React called reactive search that we didn't even touch upon in Horizons. But the knowledge I got about Googling and learning to read through documentation in the beginning allowed me to totally pick up this new framework in the end that we didn't even touch upon in Horizons. So it kind of prepares you for more learning in the future, even past the 12 weeks.
So do you think like when you're not here anymore, that you could do it? Like you could make something? Like if you had an idea, would you be able to tackle it?
Definitely. And the idea that I'm building in the 5 weeks, I'm hoping to continue even afterwards, and maybe even bring some people on from school. It really allows you to take a project and run with it, or start new ones afterwards.
Could you talk a little bit about the project you're working on right now?
Sure. Right now I'm trying to build a startup called Bin. It essentially is Airbnb for physical storage, connecting underutilized space and communities to college students and other people who want cheaper storage. So it's an entire marketplace. There's a lot of aspects, different pages to build, but it's been fun kind of trying to see the whole process through and hopefully turn it into a real business idea after Horizons.
Right. And what's been the hardest technical challenge that you've kind of faced?
I think a live updating search page is very difficult because it has to be connected to a database, calculate distance immediately upon rendering certain locations, have an updating map, and all of the UI there is very tough. That's what reactive search was building upon, what I touched upon earlier, but extremely difficult to build that page. Still in the works.
Okay. So how has your experience at Horizons been external of your technical development in the sense of like you're learning how to code, but is there anything else that kind of adds to maybe building entrepreneurship, building PM skills, or anything else being in San Francisco?
Yeah, there's probably 2 major points I'll touch on, are the other network of college students here. So most internships are, you're one of a few interns, and you're mostly working with adults, and it can kind of be this overwhelming environment. At Horizons, you're surrounded by over 100 people who are going through the same struggles you are, and it allows you to connect both inside and outside of the classroom. So just hanging out with other people from college feels like you're back at college almost, which is a very cool environment to learn in because it's very different than a workplace. And then the other thing that I've learned the most from is the speaker series. Every time we have a new speaker, I'll look them up on LinkedIn beforehand and just be amazed at the qualifications they have. It's crazy. We have a speaker coming in tomorrow that was a VP at PayPal, VP at LinkedIn. It's just these people are crazy qualified, and it's awesome to learn from their experiences, and especially have that Q&A. You can ask some personally tailored questions to learn whatever your needs are.
So can you talk a little bit more about like maybe the types of speakers that have come, as well as then how being here and being able to listen to them is beneficial or not, as opposed to like YouTubing them or going to this giant conference and hearing them to give a keynote speech?
Definitely. So most of the speakers I would say have been in private equity, venture capital, product management, or engineers, which is kind of a vast landscape, but a lot of them bring their own experiences, and a lot of them are entrepreneurs as well. But seeing someone who kind of came from the position we're in, from being a college student, being entrepreneurial, and starting their own things in college, and kind of working to build multi-million-dollar companies over the course of a few years is very inspiring. And I think the benefit of seeing them in person in San Francisco is you can follow up on conversations and actually make use of the connections that you're making here. Now that I've met so many of these people, I'm using their contacts to continue networking with other people that I wouldn't have normally. Through connections here in San Francisco, I've been able to meet with a product manager at Lookout, and next week I'm meeting with the VP of product management at Uber. It's just these connections that you make here kind of allow you to expand upon the speakers and just meet people in the area, because almost everyone here has been in your shoes and is willing to help you out. That's part of the beauty of this community.
So, a couple more questions.
Yeah.
Sorry. The speakers that have come here, they've had some incredible stories. Can you share just one of them that's really resonated with you?
Yeah, definitely. One of my favorite speakers was, so she founded ClassPass, and I think probably this speech resonated with so many different people. But coming from nothing, kind of iterating over an idea, watching it fail, it can be it can persuade you to not pursue that idea anymore. But she kind of rose from the challenge that the startup caused her to face, and she came out and made this amazing product that now has millions of users. I think it's worth almost $500 million at this point. And all on the side, following her passions in dance and kind of not giving up what she loved to pursue an idea, and kind of had both at the same time. And I really respect the balance that she had between work and life, and she's still able to create an amazing product, which is very cool.
What's been the most challenging aspect of this program?
For sure, the technical aspects. Just, again, never having coded, coming in and trying to learn new material like this fast is incredibly difficult. So you go from 0 to 100, chilling on your couch for 2 weeks before coming here, and then coming here and working 60 to 80 hours a week is definitely a shocker. So a lot of coffee, a lot of code, fingers are sore, but we're doing well.
And you're enjoying yourself?
Yes. I'm really excited to finish out these last 2 weeks, hopefully nail down the MVP for this new product, and continue to stay in contact with everyone I've met through Horizons and continue building even afterwards.
What advice would you give yourself with everything you experienced and gained in knowledge to when you were just starting the program?
I think the main piece of advice is don't compare yourself to others. Compare yourself to yourself. It's so easy to get overwhelmed, where you have to look at what you've done and say, look at what I can build now. When you're sitting there debugging, it's midnight and you're tired, don't feel discouraged. Feel like I'm doing this, I'm brave for doing this. I'm not going out of my comfort zone to learn something new. That is beautiful in its own sense. So don't be discouraged, be encouraged by that. So that's the advice I would give.
Awesome. One more thing. Can you share with us My Horizons experience has been, or My Horizons experience, and then fill in the blank after? A lot of people about relationships, whatever.
You don't have to be Gandhi or like Buddha, just something simple. Because we're going to edit a video like that. It's like short teach line.
My Horizons experience has been blank.
Yeah, or was. You can think about those. This is probably like doing this one.
Really?
You're very well spoken.
It takes a little bit to warm everybody up. Just immediate. Good.
Cool.
It's the philosophy, bro. His ideas and his words are organized before they come out. Yeah. Key. You ready?
Yeah.
You're going to say two.
Don't let this girl know. Hold on. Focus back.
This is intense. I've got that.
Steely eyes. Alright. We are rolling.
My Horizons experience has been inspiring.
Say it one more time.
My Horizons experience has been inspiring.
Everybody done that.
Yeah, why is today?
Listen, bro.
Yeah, no, just like.